Walking down these empty streets, echoes of the past I meet. Lost and wandering for so long, searching for where I belong. Sunrise breaking through the night, guiding me back to the light. Every step feels like a prayer, promises hang in the air. Come back home, heal your heart, where the love never parts. Come back home, find your peace. In this place, your pain will cease. Memories of laughter and tears, answers to my deepest fears. In these walls I find my truth, washing away the years. Oh, the road was long and rough, but my spirit's had enough. Here in the sanctuary, healing feels extraordinary. Come back home, heal your heart, where the love never parts. Come back home, find your peace. In this place, your pain will cease. Oh, the road was long and rough, but my spirit's had enough. Here in the sanctuary, healing feels extraordinary. Come back home, heal your heart, where the love never parts. Come back home, find your peace. In this place, your pain will cease. Walking down these empty streets, echoes of the past I meet. Lost and wandering for so long, searching for where I belong. Sunrise breaking through the night, guiding me back to the light. Every step feels like a prayer, promises hang in the air. Come back home, heal your heart, where the love never parts. Come back home, find your peace. In this place, your pain will cease. Memories of laughter and tears, answers to my deepest fears. In these walls I find my truth, washing away the years. Oh, the road was long and rough, but my spirit's had enough. Here in the sanctuary, healing feels extraordinary. Come back home.
Good morning, gentlemen. Good morning, Facebook. Good morning, my YouTube brothers. Good morning, man. It's Thursday, brother. We passed the half week point. You made it. You made it. You did well. I want to tell you, you did well. I'm going to tell you did well. Even if you don't think you did so well, you did well. Go in the chat, man. Tell me you're here. Tell me where you're from. My Facebook audience, YouTube audience. Tell me where you're from. Tell me how you feel this morning, man. Tell me how you feeling. Let's get an honest account of how the viewers are feeling this morning. How you feeling? How's the community this morning? You feel stressed out? You feel excited? You might have got paid today. You're on top of that. You got something exciting going on this weekend, man. Tell us how you feeling, because that matters to me. I don't just want to go in teaching. I want to know how my brothers are feeling, how you doing, how's life treating you. And you know, that's the best way to address these things, man. It's so good to be alive, man. It's good to be alive, man. Everything ain't going to be right all the time, but good morning, my brother. Good morning. Everything ain't going to be right. Everything wasn't right yesterday, but I tell y'all every morning, yesterday was history. Tomorrow's a mystery. All you have is right now. So what you going to do with it? What you going to do with right now? What time is it? What you going to do with 5:53 a.m.? You know, are you going to speak life into yourself, or you going to tell yourself, man, I can do this? If you failed yesterday, you know, one thing about failure and not doing things well, you know, that's not an invitation to walk away. It's an invitation to try again. There's a lot of stuff, man, you tried before, but guess what, my man? You didn't have the wisdom you have now. There's a lot of stuff you didn't do so right before. You didn't have the wisdom you have now. You got more wisdom now. You got more knowledge. You have more understanding of yourself, of situations, of your weaknesses and your strengths, man. It's not time to fold, bro. It's not time to fold. I'm talking to somebody specifically, man, out there that's saying, man, I got this good idea, man. I got this business idea, man. I want to start this food truck, man. I got this idea to help my community. Man, don't back up off that stuff. Don't throw it away because it didn't work out the first time. You got to realize things have changed about you. Things have changed about your life, man. Things have changed about your mindset, because what you're doing is you're going back with a better you. That's the whole concept. You're going back with a better you. You're going back with a more profound you. And that's what you got to lean into, man. Lean into yourself this morning, man. Happy Thursday, bro. Lean into yourself this morning. Lean into yourself. Don't rehearse your weaknesses. You know, don't rehearse your weaknesses. You speak to your strength and your weaknesses start to go away. Understand this, man. Whatever you feed will get fat. Whatever you starve will die. And you got to decide in your life, man, what am I going to starve? Who am I going to starve? You know, there's some people in your life that you need to starve them from your energy. You know, this is a fact. You need to starve them from your attention. There are some people that will drain you, man, as long as you let them, right? This is just morning advice, man. Morning advice. Love yourself enough to cut off the people that drain you, drain your mind, man, drain you. You know, I ain't talking about your wife sometimes when she get on your nerves. I'm talking about people who actually drain your energy, drain your spirituality, drain the best parts of you, man. You need to, it is okay. I'm going to give you permission today to let things go without apologizing for it, man. Some things you have to let go in life without apology. You just got to move on because that's what you deserve. But I love you, man. Make sure you visit the website, man. Go on there. Sign up for your one-on-one coaching, group coaching. My table of 12 is coming up in October, man. I'm only taking 12 men per month for that gathering. We're going to sit, man, and have talk. We're going to share. Make sure you visit my website today, christianwinters.com. And you can go right there. Let's get into it today, man. I want to get into this lesson today. I want to talk about not letting life slip through your fingers. I think that there are times where we do that, man. We've let life slip through our fingers. We've let an opportunity slip through our fingers. And it's just not, it's not who you are. It's not who you are. And the question is, man, why do we let these things slip through our fingers? You know, all of us want greatness, but the question is, why do we let certain things slip through our fingers? You know, the complaint in the world is, man, I don't have the opportunity. I just need a chance, you know. But when you look at your life, man, you have certain chances, man. And you got to ask yourself, why didn't I step up in that situation? What's in me? What didn't I believe about myself? What didn't I believe about my ability? You know, what didn't I hold on to? What didn't I believe I could do? Why did I just let things go in my life? You know, you got to ask yourself that. We talk about this every day almost Self-investigation. Where am I at with it? Why do I let these things go? Why did you lose the last great woman you had in your life? You got to ask yourself this. I think one of the seductions that we have as men is just to move on. Moving on is good in the sense that you're not holding on to things internally, but moving on is bad because you never assess why things didn't go the way they were supposed to go. There's some things, man, it didn't have to go like that. It was your self-doubt. It was your disbelief in you. So you got to question yourself about these things. But let's get into this today. I'm going to talk about 3 points, man. I'm going to talk about 3 points of don't let life slip through your fingers. Understand this, man. Every opportunity you have, it comes in your hand. It's in your hand. Don't allow it to slip through your fingers. The first thing, man, I want to talk about as far as not letting things slip through your fingers is you got to take risk. As men, you got to take risks. You got to seize opportunity. You got to seize opportunity. I wouldn't be on here right now. I wouldn't be doing this podcast right now if I didn't take a major risk in June. I was a principal. I was a school principal in June and last school year, right? And I started at the beginning of the year in September. It was a great year, man. Great year. Love of the school. The people loved me. The parents loved me. Lunch lady loved me. Janitors. Everything was great. But something didn't feel right. Something didn't feel right. I had a pull in my heart, man, to do what I'm doing right now, to give my voice and my experience to help people, to help men around the world. And I'm sitting there, and as great as it was, man, I was getting paid well, everything's good. But something just didn't feel right. I felt like I was missing something. You got to pay attention to the times in your life, bro, when something's missing, even though something's good. Understand this, man. It's not always the bad thing you have to walk away from. Sometimes it's not because it's bad. It's because it's unfulfilling. It's easy to walk away from something when it ain't no money there. It's easy to walk away with something that caused you pain. But sometimes the hardest thing to walk away from is something that's good. It's good, but it's not fulfilling. And that's where you got to learn to take risk. I took a risk, man. I took a risk. Shoot, I was just homeless 2 years ago. I took a teaching job. That was excellent. Then I took another risk when I left teaching. I was teaching. I was in this classroom. I'm not the type of person that's built to sit in a room all day, on some type of office. I'm just not built for that. It would drive me crazy, right? But I was teaching, man. Again, I loved it. I had a ball teaching the kids, meeting the parents. I had a ball. But I wasn't built for that. I was built for what I'm doing right now. So I'm sitting in that classroom at the end of the 2022 school year. And I said, you know what? I can't sit here. I got to take a risk, right? Number one, I was a first-year teacher. I had never taught in a classroom before. I taught all around the world, but I hadn't taught in a classroom setting, middle school students. I had never done that before. But even though I was happy, I still wasn't fulfilled, bro. I'm not saying this because I don't know what to say next. Someone needs to hear this. You can't sit in a place that's cool but unfulfilling. I think sometimes, man, we sit back and we just take what's there. As men, no, you pursue what you desire. You pursue the life you desire. And sometimes the only way to get to the life you desire is to walk away from something that's got you comfortable. Comfort is a killer. Comfort is a killer, man. Be real careful on your comfort. I'm not saying we should live a life of discomfort, but be careful, man, while you will comfort yourself out of your dreams. You'll comfort yourself out of your hope. You'll comfort yourself out of desires. I was comfortable in that teaching job, right? Of course I was comfortable. Hell, I was just homeless months before. I mean, I didn't even have clothes to put on when I interviewed for that. That's how God's grace worked for me. I only had a bag of clothes with 4 pairs of shorts and 3 t-shirts and 1 pair of sneakers. I showed up at the interview to be a teacher with some sneakers on, bro, shorts and a t-shirt, because it's all I had. But let me teach you something out of that, man. When you believe in you, I had to believe in me. I mean, I got out of a car, a Chevy Impala, took a shower at the Planet Fitness, man, and put on shorts and a t-shirt and walked in there and told that principal, I can teach. I've been teaching all my life and I can teach anybody anything. That woman hired me, gave me a job, and I was one of the best teachers in the school, right? But I had to take a leap after that end of the school year. I said, I feel trapped in here. I can't sit in this classroom and do the same thing, teach these kids the same thing over and over. I said, you know what? Let me get on Indeed. I jumped on Indeed. Indeed should pay me for talking about Indeed. But anyway, I jumped on Indeed and I jumped on there, man, and I saw a principal job. Now, here I am. I only taught 1 year of school. 1 year, right? All my life I had taught again, but I never taught school. Here I am, a first year teacher, got 1 year of teaching under my belt. And I was like, man, let me try something different. I love teaching these kids. Let me try to stay in this education lane, but try something different. I see a thing to be a principal. And I jump on there and I filled out the application. Like, there's no way in the world these people going to hire me to be a principal. I got the daggone job. I was shocked. Like, what? Yeah, right? But it was a risk. It was a risk. You got to learn as a man to take risks when you are unsatisfied, when you're unfulfilled, right? Don't look to change because something failed. Sometimes you should look to change because you feel unfulfilled. Let me say that again, man, right? Failure is not always the signal that you need to make a change. Sometimes just simply living an unfulfilled life will make you desire to make a change. And that's necessary, man. That's necessary. Good morning to the people that are coming in. Good morning, my Facebook audience. Good morning, my Facebook friends and YouTube. Again, you got to take a risk. I took 2 risks in my life, right? Well, 2 recent risks. Quitting school, quitting being a teacher to be a principal. I had no idea, clue, or experience how to do it. I walked in there. Things worked out, right? And I'm in there at that point. They're like, look, we love you. We're great, man. Everything's great. We're going to give you a raise. Man, they gave me this new contract, had a raise on it. Everything was in place. And something said, can't do it, bro. What risk are you not taking, man? What risk haven't you taken? And sometimes the risk is not big. Sometimes the risk is not leaving a job. Sometimes the risk in our life is forgiving someone that hurt us. Sometimes the biggest risk you take in life is forgiving someone, letting someone off the hook. Sometimes that's the biggest risk you'll take, right? The risk isn't always starting a Fortune 500 company. When we talk about risk, it's always this big thing. I sold everything I own and moved to Iceland. That's a risk, but that's not that's not the risk that everyone needs to take. Sometimes the biggest risk seems small, but it's big. Forgiving yourself is a risk, right? Can you forgive yourself for the places you disappointed yourself as a man, for the times you walked away from your own strength as a man? Can you forgive yourself? That's a risk. But let's go back. It's a risk to forgive other people because sometimes holding something against people keeps them right in place, right? And sometimes you got to let people off the hook. That's a risk because you have built your peace on not forgiving somebody else, right? You got your distance from them. Right? I don't want them ever near me, man. I achieved them being over there. So the risk is forgiving them. Forgiving someone doesn't mean you got to let them back in your life. Forgiving them means I'm going to take this boulder off my shoulders because I'm not going to walk around holding a bag that I shouldn't. Right? That's a risk. Forgiving somebody. Right? Going to have a tough conversation with a parent or an ex or your children is a risk. Right? But you cannot that's what we're talking about this morning, guys. Don't let life slip through your fingers. If you have harmed your child, if you said something hurt their feelings, right? It's a risk to knock on that door, to humble yourself and knock on your child's door to say, you know what, I said that wrong. I'm sorry for that. It's a risk to go to your wife while she's cooking dinner and you done pissed her off. It's a risk to walk up to her and put both arms around her waist and kiss her on her shoulder and tell her, baby, I'm sorry, I love you. It's a risk. But you know what? That's manhood. Anything less isn't manhood. To sit back and act like we don't hurt people, we haven't disappointed, that's less than manhood. You want to be a man? Take a risk. Take a risk. Take a risk with a career. Hey, you really wanted to do this? You always wanted to be a fireman? You always wanted to work in the office? You always wanted to be a lawyer? I remember when my cousin graduated from Temple in Philadelphia, and she graduated with her medical doctor's degree. Right? She came out. She was a medical doctor, and in her graduating class, it was a man that was he was like 80. And he was getting his medical degree. And they announced over the loudspeaker that he was a lawyer for 50 years. And he decided, I always wanted to be a doctor. He had made a ton of money being a lawyer, had his own firm and everything. But at some point, right, in his 70s, he decided, you know what? I'm going to be a medical doctor. Listen, bro, you only have one life. And this life we live in ain't going to last. There's a better place for us to go. This life we have is a mirage. This ain't real. This not real, right? This is just an opportunity. Man, oh man, feel me, bro. Feel me, bro. Feel me this morning. This life is not real. It's just an opportunity to flex your muscles. That's what this life is. It's an opportunity for you to see who you are, feel yourself out. This flesh you got on, this flesh we wear, this ain't real. Do you know? I'm gonna talk heavy to you for a minute, bro. This life you live, the life you have, you are a spirit covered in flesh. You're a spirit covered in flesh. If you didn't have a body on, covered in flesh, this earth wouldn't be able to handle you. That's why you got a body. You got a body, you put it on. But there's a purpose in you that this body is to fulfill before it dies. And you'll never fulfill your purpose not taking a damn risk, man. You got to take a risk. You got to take a risk. You got to take a risk and go to the doctor. Sometimes that's a risk because you're scared. As men, we get scared. We get scared to go to the doctor, man. You know your body hurting. You know something don't feel right in your chest. You know your eyes been hurting, your legs, man. You know something off, right? You don't got to die no crazy death. You know what? Most men die a crazy death because we were scared right? We wouldn't take the risk to go see what the doctor had to say, right? Man, my kidneys failed. I was on dialysis for 2 years, right? I knew something was wrong with me years ago when I'm standing over the toilet pissing and it's foamy. I said, man, this ain't right. Something wrong. And that was for years. I was too scared to go to the doctor, right? Come to find out, my kidneys was failing the whole time. And I'm on dialysis, right? Spent years on dialysis. Thank God in 2020, January 3rd, 2020, God sent a miracle person and gave me a kidney, right? But I was so scared when I was sick, man. I want you to listen, bro. I feel very spiritually connected to you, brothers, this morning. I'm talking to somebody directly, man. You need to go to the doctor, right? You need to go to the doctor. Why haven't you gone? Because you don't want to take the risk, right? Or we'll take the risk to get some money, but we won't take the risk to self-care. You'll take the risk to make you some money. You'll take the risk. You'll move across the country if it's 300 grand over there, but you won't call the doctor, bro. It's twisted in our mind. You know why? Because going to get that money will make us something in life. Going to get that money will give us status. Going to get that money will give us this and that. But health will give you an opportunity to live. Come on, you want to live or just spend some money, right? You want to be alive? Right? The money chase is killing men. Men have had heart attacks over that money, right? Strokes over that money, or some chick took it all from you, right? You have to take the risk to take care of you. That's a risk. It's a risk. It's a risk to call the doctor, right? It's a risk, but take it. Why? Because life's greatest regrets, they come from the chances you did not take. Life's greatest regrets come from the chances you did not take, the relationships you did not build, the conversations you did not have. Life's biggest regrets are built on what you would not walk out on, bro. You got to have the balls to walk out on things that are in your mind. Don't die with an idea or an opportunity in your mind. You got to take that opportunity and make it flesh. Right? The thought has to live before you. Don't let your greatest things live in your head. Right? It feels good to think about it. It feels better to walk into it. Let me see who we got in the chat. All right, my brothers. Yes, sir. Right? Take the opportunity, bro. I had to take the opportunity. One of the biggest risks I took, man, also was retiring from pastoring. Right? People said, man, who you think you is? You crazy, man. Right? You too young. Man, I started preaching at 14 years old. 14. That's all I did all my life. At 39, here I am. I had been sick. I had lost my mother. I lost my father. I lost my child. And I kept going and pastoring and leading people and right? Going. I had to take a risk. I said at 39, I'm sitting here on a dialysis machine. I'm like, It might be something else out here for me. Right? And I retired. I retired from pastoring after 26 years, and it was the only thing I had ever done. I had given my life to teaching. I had never done anything else with my life. I was walking out in the dark, bro. Walking out in the dark. I didn't know who I was other than the pastor, the evangelist, the missionary that traveled around the world. All I knew myself as was that. I had to take a risk to find out what else I was doing. If you enjoy this podcast, it's because I took a risk. I would have never been on this computer talking to you. I took a risk. What risk are you going to take? What risk are you going to take to put your family in a better situation? What risk are you going to take to put your children in a better? What risk are you going to take? You will not comfort your way to success. You got to walk through the dark, not knowing what's next, not knowing if you're even equipped to do this, John. John, that's Philly talk. You have to take a risk. You have to step outside of what you think the limit of your capability is and step into another dimension of life. You got to take that risk. You got to take that risk, right? Here's a Bible reference. When the rich young ruler came to Jesus and said, yo, what you doing is crazy, right? He said, man, my pockets are full of money. I can buy anything. He said, but what I see you doing, that's insane. He said, can I follow you? Jesus said, cool, bro. But you got to take a risk. You got to give up your money. Was Jesus asking for his money? No. Jesus never said, give me your money. He was asking him to take the risk of walking away from something that he'd always leaned on. Right? It wasn't about the money. It was about that you had always leaned on this money. You had always depended on this money. And if you want to follow me, you got to get that joint up. The rich young ruler said, yeah, nah, right? He wasn't willing. It wasn't the money. He wasn't willing to walk away from what had always propped him up and made him comfortable. And he missed the walk of a lifetime because he was too scared to lose. He was too scared to lose. You got to be willing to lose, bro. You got to be willing to lose. I lost everything I had. I lost my name, bro. I lost my work. I lost everything I had. I lost my possessions. I lost the very home I lived in. I lost the very car I drive. I lost all the clothes I wore, right? And I said, well, damn it, that's a crazy loss. And then I woke up and realized in the dust of loss, I found myself. In the dust of loss, I found myself. In the ashes is where you find yourself. Sometimes your life, you got to be willing to let your life catch on fire so you can see what parts of you can stand the flame. Y'all feel me? Life's greatest regrets often come from the chances we didn't take, relationships we didn't build. What you scared of? You scared you won't be the man no more? Y'all remember Michael Jordan wearing number 45 for the Wizards? That's how some of us men are walking around, wearing the wrong jersey and the wrong number because we weren't willing to let it go when it was time. Too scared to take the risk of walking away. It's Thursday. What you gonna take today? Because again, yesterday history. Tomorrow mystery. What risk you gonna take today? Because all you know you have is right now. In fact, hell, in the next 25 minutes, God forbid, I might drop dead. What risk I'm gonna take? I'm taking the risk of waking up 5:45 in the morning to talking to an audience I don't know. That's what I do every morning. I'm waking up to take this risk. Y'all don't even hear me say like, subscribe, and share and all that stuff because, man, I'm not here to grow a channel. I'm here to grow the people. I'm not here to grow a channel. I'm here to grow a people, right? So if you like and you share and subscribe, it's because we growing people. We growing a community of men that can stand up and change things around them. And let me take a pause for the calls right quick because I'm not on here. Trust me. Let me tell you a little vision going forward. I'm not on here every morning just to encourage you. No, I'm here every morning to instruct you. And I hope that instruction gives you encouragement. But the next level is us getting together and finding hurts and healing them around the world. That's the next level. You want to know where we going as men? You think I'm going to sit back on this computer and just sit back, right? And YouTube monetize me and I make a little check every month. Yay. Man, I went through too much for that. I almost lost my life helping people fix their lives. You think I'm here to YouTube to give me a check? No, that's not all I'm here for. No, it will be good to give me a little check to help me through as I do this work, but that's not what I signed up for. I signed up, my whole life has been signed up to help people. You ask anybody that knows me, they will tell you that man gave his whole life to help people. In this second half of my life, I'll be 45 in December. The second half of my life is to give and strengthen men and boys around the world for the rest of my life. But you got to take a risk. What's in your heart willing to take a risk for? What hill are you willing to die on as a man? What hill are you willing to die on? What point are you willing to stand on? What you willing to lose friends over, bro? That's a man. Being connected to everybody and we all getting money together and hee ha ha. That ain't manhood. Look at the legends. Look at Malcolm and Martin, right? Look at Gandhi. Look at Mother Teresa. Look at the geniuses out here, the people that changed the world. They ain't have no crew. If it took solo, it took solo. But they were willing to take the risk, and the risk they took cost them their life. But that's manhood. Because you believe in something enough to know I'm not just living just to say I'm alive. No, I want to make impact. What footprint are you going to leave on the earth before you go? When you go, will they say, man, I remember that cat? Not because everybody ain't going to do a world touch, right? But does your block remember you? Do your family remember you, right? Does your absence mean something to the earth? Y'all feel me, man? One of my favorite people was, I'm telling my favorite people, and here my mind slipping because my mind is old. Miles Monroe. Miles Monroe was one of my favorite teachers ever, right? And I remember the morning I was laying on my couch and it came across the news that Miles Monroe had died in a plane accident. And man, my heart dropped. And I mean, it wasn't, but it wasn't personal, right? My heart dropped because I knew how valuable he was to the world. And my heart dropped and I laid on that couch. Honestly, I went into a sadness for about a day and a half because I knew that something had left the earth that we'll never have again. I'm going to pause, bro. I'm going to pause and say that. Something had left the earth that we would never have again when that man died. Something left the earth when Malcolm died. El-Hajj, Malik El-Shabazz, Malcolm X, when he died, something left the earth that we'll never have again. When Martin Luther King died, it was something that left the earth that we'll never have again. When Martin Luther died, some of y'all need to know who he is. When Martin Luther died, it's something left the earth that we'll never have again. When that man walked up to Gandhi and shot him right dead on, it's something left the earth that we'll never have again. You want to live a life, man, y'all about to make me cry, not because I'm sad, because I feel passion running through my body while I'm talking to you. Brother, you want to live a life that when you die, something leaves the earth. Something leaves the earth. Something leaves the earth. That's the kind of man you want to be. Not people just say, oh, I miss Jack. No, something left the earth. The block won't be the same. The neighborhood won't be the same. The community won't be the same because you were a piece. You were a piece that counted. Don't live no weak life sitting back, man. Oh, man, what happened to me? Yeah, it happened to you. Everything happened to everybody, man. What you going to do now? Life's greatest regrets come from the chances we didn't take, the relationships we didn't build. What chance you going to take today? Let's see in the chat. Let's see what we talking. Okay, yes, same thing. Yes, Nipsey Hussle. He took his rap career and did something great. Good point, Eric. He took his rap career, did something great in his community, right? Isn't it sad that his community is the one that killed him, right? Jesus' community killed him. Malcolm's community killed him. Martin's community killed him. We'll get into this another time, but y'all pay attention, bro. It's your community that'll kill you. But that's one of the signs of legend. You know what? As low as my self-esteem was, you knew when I knew I was a bad mamma jamma. I was a bad mamma jamma when the whole church world couldn't stand me because I took a stand to say we should be doing more than we are. That's when I knew that I might be somebody, right? I was on a podcast with two pastors one time. They wanted to interview me. I got the. Do I have it? Yes, it's over here somewhere. I might be over there. I wrote a book called "I Left Church to Serve God," and two pastors interviewed me, and they tried to murder me on the on the podcast. They haven't even read they didn't read the book. They just hated the topic so bad, right? That they tried to murder me on the podcast, right? And I sat there that day, and I was sad, right, when I left their studio. But then that night I was working with a brother who works in the community with young men trying to get guys to stop shooting. And I was working with him that night, and I put my head up. I looked up in the sky, and a happiness came over me because I realized, man, I must be doing the right thing. The preachers are trying to kill me, and the streets love me. And I thought about Jesus, and I said, man, the streets loved him, and the preachers tried to kill him. I might be in the right place. You're in the right place when people want to challenge you. You're in the right place when people want to kill you for truth. You're in the right place. That's when you really manning out, bro. When everybody, oh, that's my homie, that's my friend. No, man. When people want to take you out, that's how you know that you're probably effective. And I'm gonna tell you something. You know what affects the world the most? And you know when the world gets threatened the most? When they find people that are trying to bring unity. Let me see. My man Ron. I asked my students yesterday, how do you think you're viewed by others? And what do you want people to say about you when you're no longer here? I know Ron's a hell of a teacher. And that right there, bro. See, this is the thing. The fact, Ron, that you asked that question to your class, to your students, right? To those geniuses, you know what that says about you? That says you're on the right road. You are a chaos causer. That question, damn it, Ron, I gotta get out of here, bro. Man, yeah, I love talking to y'all, man. This y'all my community, bro. Ron, the fact that you ask your students that says that you're a problem, bro. And I'm clapping you up, bro. I'm clapping you up because that means that's manhood. I'm gonna cause a problem. What's the problem you cause though, Ron? This is the thing. This is the problem you cause. You cause students to look at themselves instead of the world. That's the brilliance of it, Ron. That's the brilliance of it. The brilliance of it is you cause your students to look at themselves and not be so stuck on what Beyonce is doing and what I'm about to say Tupac did and what everybody else is doing, what's trending. It kills me to see people, even adults, caught up in the lives of other people, and they never think about who they are, what they become, what they can become, living in the dreams of other people. Ron, I thank you, brother, for standing in your classroom, bro. You see what I'm saying? And for believers, right? For believers, this is why I left the church. I left the church because people that are spiritual ought be using their spirituality in the field God put them in. As a student, as a teacher, you should be rocking your classroom with brilliance like that man is. That's how you spread the good news around the world. Is not sitting in the building thanking God over and over. You know how you want to thank God as a man? You want to know what worship and praise is? It's more than singing some songs. You know what worship and praise is? It's going in your classroom and changing the lives. It's going in your cubicle and touching the person sitting next to you. That's what it is. That's what marketplace is. Marketplace means I can touch you in Walmart, bro. I will change your life in Target. I'll change your life in a classroom. I'll change your life in a board meeting. I'll change your life in a lunch conversation. Man, y'all got me going this morning, but I'm talking about manhood. I'm talking about manhood. I'm talking about healed men that now the government is saying, who the hell are they and what's going on? Oh, men stood up, white men and black men and Asian men, Latino men, Korean men, all kinds of men standing together, right? This political game, we see the one guy on the right talking all crazy, the lady over here talking all crazy. You think that's going to change the world? That ain't going to change the world. What person in that seat ever changed the world? You know who changed the world? Teachers and trash men and SEPTA workers. You know who changed? Truck drivers, men who take care of their families. We're the changers of the world. You waiting on them people up there that are billionaires to change society? They don't give a damn about society. But it's people like you, my brother, that can change society. It's people like you that can change something at your job every day. That's what makes you legendary. It ain't about $1 million this and driving around in a damn Maybach and all these things that push other people's agenda. It's holding your family together. It's lifting your wife up. It's telling your children they're brilliant. That is what builds the world, and that's what a man is, bro. And so when I wrote the book about going home, that's what I'm talking about. That's what it means to go home. What it means to go home is to revisit home. It means to revisit your greatest self. Home means to when you were most connected to you. When did you love you? When did you trust you? When did you believe in you? That's what home is. That's what you got to get back to. It's not just about no woman and no children, right? Because you can't go back to them until you come to you. But go home. Go home. The inner recesses of your mind. Go home. When you knew your capability and weren't scared to live in it. Go get my book, bro. Go get it. All right, dang, we ain't get past point number 1. Don't let life slip through your fingers. Point number 2. Don't fear vulnerability. Don't fear vulnerable relationships. Don't fear vulnerable relationships. Don't fear vulnerable relationships. Don't fear the connections, right? Don't fear making connections. That's one of my biggest fears. I'm going to tell you why. Being a young teacher, y'all got to understand this, bro. When I was in high school, I was preaching. By the time my junior year, I was traveling up and down the East Coast, right? So 16, 17 years old, traveling up and down the East Coast teaching. I don't know these people. My parents weren't with me. Right? I'm traveling. I don't know none of these people. Everybody's shaky out there. You got shady people out there. I'm a young boy and older lady slipping their phone numbers in my hand while I'm teaching conferences, right? Dudes trying to outslick me for money, all kinds of stuff. And here I am, a teenager. I don't know nothing about this life out here, right? I was so scared, man, to build any relationships because I didn't trust nobody. And the thing is, it was okay out there because I had to protect myself. Right. But living that constant life, that was the danger of me being who I was so young. That transferred over into other things. I didn't trust nobody. Bro. Nobody. Right. And so I was never vulnerable to a relationship. No, I'm not being vulnerable. Now, entertain. This is one thing about me. When in my dating world, I would never connect with anybody, really. I would date you. I would have a great time with you. Right. But I was too scared. In my dating time, I was too scared to show my weakness. Why? Because most people saw me on the stage and assumed I didn't have none. So, right? The problem with people, what their thoughts about you, just why you got to be careful what woman you get with, because if she has you on a certain level of expectation, you can never live beneath it. It means you can never be you because you got to live her fantasy of what she thinks you are. And you may not be what she made up in her head. That's why you got to be very careful of a woman who wants a fantasy and not you. Be afraid. Yes, I was going to use be afraid of the woman who wants the fantasy of relationship, but not you. What that means is she just wants the fantasy. That means she'll stick anybody in there. Anybody is a space holder that any man will fit in. Don't ever entertain that woman because she'll never care about you, right? So even in vulnerability, being vulnerable in relationships, you still have to be discerning enough to know who is destructive to you, right? Fear of emotional connection can cause a lot of missed opportunities, though, right? Fear of emotional connection can make you miss a lot of opportunities. A lot of opportunities you'll miss because you were afraid to do a meaningful relationship, right? Yeah. I was scared. I was scared to build with anybody, right? Even this day, I still look over my shoulder. But this is the problem. This is the problem with being too afraid to build any relationship. You're in this bubble that you think is so safe, right? You're in there and you're like, oh, can't nobody get in here. I'm safe. There's where the problem comes in, bro. You can't get out. There's the problem. You're safe in there. You know, you got your little man cave. You got your cold beer. You got your thing. You got your chill. You got your little time, whatever your thing is, right? You got your little bubble that nobody can get in, but you can't get out. That's the dangerous thing about a bubble. Because you're afraid to make connections. No, you got to know this. You got to know this. You got to take the risk of making certain connections. It's a safe risk. You're not just jumping out the window. Right? Because you don't want to wind up with your head in Delilah's lap. She'll cut you bald. But I don't know if that was even Samson taking a risk. I think that was Samson being foolish. But let's go. But you gotta be open. You gotta be honest, right? Rather than avoiding relationship, right? Most of us, this is most of our issue. You're afraid of rejection. When I was younger, there were certain people I wanted to mentor me, but I was so afraid they were too big. They wouldn't talk to me. Certain people I didn't even take a chance to reach out to, because I said, oh man, they really got what I need. They can help me change my life. They can help me go to the next level or trajectory of life. And you know what I sat there and did? I didn't make any moves because I was too afraid that I would be rejected. Right? There's some mentorship you never looked for because you were scared that person you weren't on the level. What level? What level? And if you admire somebody who won't even give you words, they're not admirable. Feel that. You're afraid to talk to somebody you think is too big for you. If they are way too big for you, then why do you admire them? I mean, Jesus was the man. He wasn't too big for nobody. Right? As a man, you shouldn't chase a man to give you mentorship. Right? Boys don't chase fathers. Fathers walk with sons, right? So if you honor somebody, then they should be willing to walk with you. You shouldn't have to chase anybody for wisdom. In fact, wisdom comes from God. Wisdom comes from God. That means that person who has that wisdom should be able to give it to you because it came from God. Anytime I was in the church world, a lot of people charge money to come speak. I was one of the people who never did it. I never charged what they call an honorarium to come speak. How can I come charge you for what God gave me? This is the biggest problem in the world. And I'll do another podcast on this, or maybe on my other podcast. I have another podcast called The Christian Activist. Y'all should check that out. But why should I then charge you for wisdom that I got from God? And I've never done it. I never played anybody for money. And God has always taken care of me. Because wisdom that comes from God, you should be willing to give it to somebody else. And as a man, if you suffer something and you learn something, be willing to transfer that to the next person. If you're unwilling to do that, you lack manhood. But build relationships. Don't be afraid of relationships, especially now we're going to get off relationships with women. Don't be afraid to build relationships with men who have wisdom that can help you think through life. Right? One of the dumbest things that ever came out was people followed this trend when Drake came out with this song a few years ago, No New Friends. And everybody walking around, no new friends, no new friends. Oh my God. It saddens me how Hollywood just makes people stupid. And whatever celebrity says, people don't even think about. They just take it as truth. No new friends. What are you talking about? There are brilliant geniuses you're surrounded by. And the only thing that's stopping you from being great is your fear of connecting with them. Let's see what we got in the comments. Make students be reflective. Yes, I understand they don't have intrinsic motive. Yes, Ron, absolutely. You're disturbing the low frequency of vibration. Absolutely, man. Yes, man. I listen, I'm about this life. I'm about this life of excellence, man. And I'm gonna push men toward it. Right. Let me get this last point out so I can share some vision with y'all and then I'm out of here. Number 3. Act on decisions without delay. Act on decisions without delay. Stop thinking about it. You thought about it already. You thought enough. You thought enough about it. Come on. How much more thinking you got to do? Sometimes when we sit back and say, I'm thinking about it, that's really code for I'm scared. I'm scared to do something. Right? Act on decisions without delay. Delaying important decisions leads to missed opportunity. Right? That door ain't going to stay open but for so long, bro. That door is not going to stay open for so long. Listen, some of you married that have dishonored your wife, bro, she still love you, but that door ain't going to stay open for so long. You still trying to act tough. You about to lose your old lady. You better wake up. You better wake up. You better go apologize. You better go say something. Don't buy her nothing. Don't buy her a bag. That's stupid. Apologies aren't purchased. You can't purchase an apology. You know what women want the most from us? Come to her, man. Hold her hand and say, I was wrong. That don't cost you nothing but pride. But us as men, we rather spend $1,000, $3,000. We rather go on a vacation with somebody we haven't talked to than go ahead and talk to them for free. Act on decisions without delay. It's important to have timely action, bold decisions, bold choices. Don't allow what's valuable in your life to slip through your fingers. It's in your hand. Don't let it slip through your fingers, man. It's in your hand. It's in your hand. This opportunity, this thing you want, the job you want, it's in your hand. Don't let it slip through your fingers. The woman you want, she's in your hand. Don't let it slip through your fingers. The better relationship you want with your kids, it's in your hand. Don't let it slip through your fingers. Your health is in your hand. Don't let it slip through your fingers, bro. Don't keep on letting opportunity pass you by. And understand again, it's not about big opportunity. It's not about big risk. Because if you don't take the small ones, you won't take the big ones. And sometimes the smallest risks are the biggest ones, like forgiving yourself, like forgiving your spouse, like forgiving your father, like having a conversation with somebody you refuse to ever talk to again. You want to be a man? Do the hard thing. I watched a video the other day, and it was these men sitting on the stage, one of these podcasts, and the guy was big and muscular, and he got all these tattoos, and he got all white on, and jeans cut up, and he's telling this guy, he's a family man. He's like, look, the big muscle guy who's making all this money and whatever he's doing is telling this family guy, he's like, look at you, man, look at your body, you're fat, you can't be a man. No man looks like that. No man has a belly. And the other guy's looking at him saying, I got to get the clip and put it up here. The other guy looking at him saying, no, I really feel like manhood is taking care of my family, man. And the other guy's, no, you can't be a man. And the guy said, so what's being a man? Coming out of jail and with big muscles? And then the guy said to him, the big guy said to him, I'll beat you up right now. And I looked at that, man, and it broke my heart because the definition of manhood is screwed out here. The definition of what a man is screwed. In my city, the murder rate is through the roof because boys have been convinced that manhood is taking the life of another person. And I said boys because most of the murders that happen in my city are happening with boys under the age of 18. And you know why this stuff is happening? Yeah, the internet, the internet on the YouTube is, these single moms messing up these boys. Well, where you at, dog? We can't keep on sitting back talking about these single moms is messing up boys. Well, where the father at? Men aren't taking responsibility. When I was growing up, man, my neighbor could step to me. Mr. Mo, he was my next door. He could step to me. If I was wrong in the street, he could step to me, right? Mr. Chris across the street can step to me. Mr. Dave can step to me, right? And tell me what I'm doing. Now, there's no direction for men. There's no direction for boys, and people scared to say something to them. Are we going to rise up or what? We going to let this world just go to shit, or we going to rise up? What we going to do? Because I'm not on here to play games with men. What we going to do? We going to get healed and we going to touch the nation, or we just going to do what? Go get some money? Money didn't help Diddy, and money can't get Diddy out of what he doing. Because what he did was he allowed resources to make him less than a man while thinking he was the man. And guess what? He was the idol for many men, including some of us, because that was our generation for years. Now you see what we make men. You see the men we follow. And what you going to do? You going to take a risk? You going to take a risk and you can be an example out here? Or you gonna keep on letting the world, you gonna keep on letting your sons and your daughters follow people in Hollywood that are private failures? Or you gonna be a man? You gonna be the star of your family? You gonna be the celebrity? What you gonna do? What you gonna do? What you gonna do? Love you back, Cass. Look, love you back. Yes, I'm disturbing everything, bro. Because I'm not afraid. This is why I suffered the way I suffered. This is why I damn near died the way I died, man. Because I'm out here. I'm out here. I'm going to change the world. I am going to change the world. The piece of the world that belongs to me, for the problem that I was born to solve, I'm solving it. I'm not going to sit in this world and just die and say, oh, he was a cool dude. No, I want to go down a freaking monster. He was a monster. He wasn't afraid of anybody. He stepped to whatever he had to step to in this world, in these the ills of society. There was a man not afraid. And the reason I'm coming on this podcast, because I need to find other men. I don't want to be no superstar. I want us to be the stars, men to be the stars of all faiths and all religions and all colors. I want the government to look and say, damn it, we got to stop playing games with these families, these men not playing. And I ain't talking about who you vote for. I don't care who you vote for, because I think all of it is a game anyway. I ain't talking about who you vote for. I'm talking about vote for yourself. Vote for yourself. Put a vote for yourself. Vote for yourself to be a better dad. Vote for yourself to be the best husband you can. Vote for yourself to be the best co-worker, right? Vote for yourself. Put a vote on yourself. They're out there raising billions of dollars for a campaign, and all that money will be spent. For the money that they're spending on campaigns can change the world. Think about it. And I don't care what party I don't care about politics. Jesus didn't care about politics, bro. I don't care about politics. They don't care about you. You got to understand that's a world system built on money and pride. You think they care about the single mom? Come on, bro. I ain't telling you not to vote. I need to vote. I don't care who you vote for. Right? I know somebody saying, what you mean? Okay, you got to vote for it. And then, look, I don't care, because they both the same people, bro. They both the same parties. They're all rich people. I'm not a fool. Trust me. I've studied and read things for years and years and years, man. The political party is just a big wall with two doors. And you go doing that door. But behind that wall, it's one big room. They all the same people, and they don't care about little you. I tell people this all the time, and I don't care how much it offends, it's truth. When God started the world and he had a garden, there was no church in the garden. There was no government in the garden. You know why? Because the family is the strongest entity that can ever exist. That's why they don't want the family together. They don't want the family together. You put a family together, that's the strongest entity. The church ain't the strongest entity. If the church was the strongest entity, why did God didn't start the garden with a church? He didn't have to, because the family was the strongest entity. You put families back together, then you change the world. Huh? That's one of the biggest failures of the church. That's one of the biggest failures of Islam. That's one of the biggest failures of many faiths, is that we draw people to God, but we don't draw people to God's will. God's will is the family. God's will is the family. God's will is men raising their children. God's will is the man being a preacher in his house, giving wisdom to his children, giving wisdom to his wife. The society does not want that. They're afraid. They are afraid that if men ever stand up, they'll change the whole society. Strong men can stand up and tell the political system, you don't do anything for us. This is what we're going to do for us. They take our money anyway and tell us what they're going to do with our money. How about you take your money and tell your family, this is how we're going to rise up. This is what degree you're going to get. This is what you're going to pursue. This is what you're going to become. Because that's what happened in Eden. Wasn't no president. Adam was the president. Wasn't no pastor. Adam was the pastor. All these systems exist because of the failure of the family. Oh boy, Christian, you talking too heavy now. Yep. All right, I gotta go, y'all. I gotta go start this day. I'm gonna drop a video later on. Love y'all so much, man. Go to my website, bro. Go to my website. One-on-one coaching is there. Group coaching is there. Go on my website, man, and book your coaching. And my table of 12, a free table of 12. I'm gathering 12 men per month to sit and we discuss what we can do in your community. What do you want to do in your community? I'm building men up one at a time. I'm helping men get their hand on their purpose. That's what I want to do. That's why I only want to do it with 12 men, right? That's why I want to do it with 12 men at a time. Every month I'll meet with 12. Go on my website right now. Go in the services section. It should be something there that says table of 12. Go on there right now, man. Peace, Ron. Have a great day, my brother. Holla at you. Right? Hey, go on my website right now, christianwinners.com. Sign up for your counseling. Sign up for one-on-one. I only coach men. I know there's a lot of women that listen to my podcast, but I only coach brothers, right? There's a lot of coaching for women. There's a lot for women out here. Men have lacked this opportunity. So I'm coaching men, okay? I'm coaching men, but brothers, go sign up for your coaching, right? And go group coaching. I told you guys yesterday, I'll come to the trap house. I'll come to the masjid. I'll come to the church. I'll meet you on Lehigh Avenue. That's in the ghetto for some of y'all who ain't from my city. I'll go anywhere to gather with men. I'll go anywhere. Halfway houses. I got a plan right now, right? This is my plan right here to serve men in the prisons. I'm serving 36,000 men in the prisons. You can donate today to help me do that, brothers, right? Donate $20. Master Built One. This helps me get 2 books into incarcerated men's hands, right? You could do it today. Master Built One. You can donate right there. I can get these books into the hands of these prisoners. All right. Be a part, bro. We're not just healing just to heal. We're healing to make change in the world. If you want to be a part of what I'm doing, man, this is what I'm doing right now, right? Our Incarcerated Brothers Project, 36,000 men. I'm trying to get this book in their hands. If you donate $20, that'll help me get get books into each prisoner's hand. That's a big number. It's not too big for men. We do big things, all right? So you can donate to that Master Built One on Cash App or Venmo. We'll get $20 into 2 incarcerated man's hands. All right. And for you ladies, I do have the same project for the women's prisons as well, with the Soul of Sarah. All right. And I'll introduce that tomorrow. Usually I have my Dear Brother the Advice. Right now, I'm sorry, I cannot have the Dear Brother Advice right now because I have gone longer on this podcast than I expected. But this is great. Thank you so much, y'all, for subscribing. Thank you for sharing. Share with some brothers that you know need this thing. Share with them. Invite them. Go to my YouTube right now, Dear Brother Podcast. And again, for some of you others, I have another podcast called the Christian Activist Podcast. And for ladies coming up soon, I'll be doing a Dear Sister Podcast. So, man, we out here. We're changing lives. Remember, everybody, all my brothers and my sisters who sneak in, you're valuable. Be great today. Be great tomorrow. Like, share, subscribe because people need wisdom. Hey, I love you. You're great. Have a great day because you're freaking awesome. You're awesome. You're amazing. You're dope. You're strong. Forgive yourself and change the world around you. I'm out.